Hey there, I'm going to show you really quickly how to make it snow. So inside your toolkit, you will find a PSD and a .abr file. We'll start here with the PSD. It looks like this. And you'll notice right away that there is a layer here called Your Image Here. And there's a couple of ways you can put your image in. You can just go to your image, copy it, come over here and paste it. That's one way to do it. Or you can also double click right here and then paste your image into this smart object and then save it and close it and it will show up right here. So a couple different ways of doing the same thing. Looking at the rest of the layers panel, we see that there is a folder with snow layers and a folder with fog layers. So we'll take a look at the snow layer first. I'm going to hide most of these here and we'll just go through them quickly. I'll show you that each layer has different types of snow on it. So they are separated out, but they're also grouped together. So that gives you a lot of flexibility. You can come in and turn on the micro dust layer. You can add the softer dust on top of it, dust, midfield, close up snow, and super close up snow. So you can stack them, layer them to your heart's content. You can also mask individual layers. So if there is a particular layer like this one here that is putting the snowflake right in front of his face, maybe I don't want that. I can come over here on the mask for that particular layer of snow and I can just brush that snowflake right off of his face. If I want to mask the whole thing as a whole, or maybe I don't care to drill down into which snowflake is on which layer, I can also come up here and then I can just like mask out whole sections at a time. Another thing that you can do to totally customize this is any one of these snow layers, if you want to edit them directly, you can just double click and that will open up that particular layer. So you could add more snow or move the snow or delete it and then save it and close it and it will update here. Another thing that you can do is each one of these layers has been converted to a smart object and you can edit the smart filters. So maybe you have an image of a client where the wind is blowing really strong and they have a scarf blowing over here this way. Well, then the snow should be blowing the same direction. So if you want to edit how the snow is blowing, you can just twirl down on whichever layer you want to edit. So I'm just going to expand the filtering for the close-up snow layer and double click motion blur. And here I can change the direction that the wind is blowing and I can change how intense the wind is as well. So the higher the number here, the more extreme blur that you're gonna get. And then you would just click OK. So this is totally customizable if you want it to be. Also, there is a fog folder. There are 2 layers of fog. So here's what it looks like with no fog. Here's just one layer of fog and another layer of fog. And of course, you can mask these individually as well, or the whole folder as a group. Lastly, if you want to add some more snow by hand, you can make a new layer in the snow folder here. And I'm going to just call this additional snow. And this is when you'd want to install the makeitsnow.abr file. And to install it, you can just double click. It will load over here in your brushes. So with your brush tool active, you can come up here. And then if we scroll down to the bottom, you will see I've installed it twice now. I have Make It Snow and Make It Snow 2. If for some reason it doesn't install for you that way, or it tries to open in another application, like maybe you have Elements or something, you can always come up here from the gear menu and choose Import Brushes and then navigate to the ABR file and install it this way as well. So to use this brush, you just double click to select it. And you can change the size just like any other brush, and then you just paint with it. And it's going to give you these little snowflakes. And then what I would recommend is to maintain the flexibility like I've created here. You'd want to convert this to a smart object. So in the layers panel, I'm going to right click or control click and choose Convert to Smart Object. And then filter it by coming up to Filter, Blur, And you might want to add a Gaussian blur and or a motion blur. So I'll add a motion blur here. And then here you can see where we're changing the angle and the intensity of the motion. And then you just click OK. So there you have it, a quick look at how to make it snow. I wish you lots of wonderfully wintry photos.